welcome to the very first bonus episode of Medium Shift, where we will be further delving into our usual segment of Do It Differently, even further because Evan cannot keep his words down.
It's time for Ev's Pitching Power Hour.
We're not calling it that. I mean, it's a great name, but it only makes sense if we go for a full hour. So.
Strap in, that's what we're doing.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, so just to get my brief preamble out of the way, I don't have much more I would change about season 3 and 4 beyond what I've already talked about in season 1 and 2, so I'm just going to rescind my usual time and hand it over to the person who genuinely wants to basically alter the entire show to fit his ambitions. So Take it away.
Okay, I'll first set up some rules that I set myself when I first started coming up with this idea. I'm continuing straight from where the actual season 2 left off.
So not
my
idolized.
Personal Do It Differently from last episode. This is, I'm delving in with what I got, giving myself an extra challenge.
Cool.
So where I'm setting up, and I'm also certain things unavoidable in changing, like Colton Hayes' disappearance from the show. That still has to be factored in because that was real life. You can't really do too much about that.
Sure.
Okay, so episode 1. We open with Team Arrow chasing down bad guys, kicking ass, and taking names for Laurel to eventually prosecute.
Okay,
obviously.
good.
Oliver is making quips and enjoying the low crime rate that the team has helped to bring to Starling City, the dissolution of the anti-vigilante task force, and despite having to fight Ray Palmer for the CEO position of Queen Consolidated, Oliver is actually happy. Whilst talking about his relationship with Laurel, Oliver tells Diggle that he still loves Laurel, but knows his history is too muddled for her to love him back, and how they are finally drama-free as friends.
Drama-free. Sorry, continue.
It's hard to speak.
No. I said, drama-free isn't... The show was never going to be drama-free.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm referring to. Continue.
Yep. Diggle reminds him that Laurel isn't the only woman he loves, gesturing to Felicity. Felicity and Oliver decide to go on a date and see if these feelings are true. During the date, there are no explosions, no terrorists, it's just awkward. Awkward as all fuck.
Like a real date.
Yeah. They basically have nothing to talk about. There's no chemistry beyond jokingly flirty, which is what they've entirely had up until now, and neither of them know how to have a proper low-key date. At the end of the date, Oliver hails Felicity a taxi before running back into the restaurant to grab his bag with his arrow suit in it. As he picks it up, he notices a small bug inside activates. A green gas starts pumping out through the vents of the restaurant, causing the patrons to become dizzy, unbalanced, and collapsing to the ground. Suddenly, some masked criminals wearing gas masks storm the restaurant, hunting for someone. They are led by a man in a royal-looking suit, large cape, and custom gas mask. You see where this is going, don't you?
I see he might finally earn the title of Count that we so wish he had.
Absolutely. Oliver bursts in, now dressed in full arrow costume and gear, but thanks to the gas, can barely aim his bow. He manages to fight off most of the henchmen before being hit with a second burst of gas from the leader. Before the leader can finish off Arrow, Oliver is saved by Quentin Lance and some of the members of the SCPD. The leader escapes, but his henchmen are captured. It is revealed to the audience that the leader is the new Count Vertigo, a former member of the Latvian royal family.
Latvian, yeah.
Not Latvian, that's Dr. Dooms.
Yeah, sorry.
This is like
that's Latverian, actually. Latvia is an actual place. Surprise.
Yes. I'm mixing up our universes.
It's
it's like Vlatva or something.
Yes. Keep talking. I will intrude once I actually
He's a part of that royal family called Werner Zeitel, who, after his family was deposed and made to flee to America, re-engineered the Vertigo drug into a gas to assist his life of crime and fuel the opulent life he was used to.
Yeah, in Vlatava.
Yeah,
Vlatava. What a stupid European name. Continue.
They just throw consonants in the board and then fill it in with vowels.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And it always seems to be chosen so that foreigners have difficulty pronouncing them. Feel like that's almost intentional. Yeah.
Okay, so thanks to the assistance from the SCPD, Team Arrow manages to track down Count Vertigo to the Starling City arena, just like in the show. Arsenal stops the bomb from releasing Vertigo's gas into the arena. Sarah reappears to save Oliver from Vertigo and his henchmen. And later, Sarah ends up having a heart-to-heart with Laurel.
Oh.
Yes, it's all very sweet, all sisterly. But before Laurel can leave, they are interrupted by 3 figures in League of Assassins gear. each gear is personalized to the individual, and each have very different weapons. One is carrying a bow and arrow, multiple arrows. Now that I think about it, makes more sense that way.
Bow and arrows, yes.
Yes. Another is holding a scalpel-like weapon, and the third is wearing clawed-like gloves. The three figures then attack Sarah and Laurel, and despite holding their own, Laurel is knocked to the ground, and Sarah is poisoned by the figure with clawed gloves. Something gloves.
Talons, just call them talons.
Talons.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So the three assassins then just leave as Laurel ends up crawling over to Sarah to check on her. And Sarah manages to just whisper out Cheshire as she slips into unconsciousness. Sarah is then rushed into hospital. In the next episode, we see Oliver, Laurel, and Quentin pacing around, not knowing what to do. The doctor comes out and says that Sarah has been poisoned by this exotic, unknown toxin that they don't know how to cure, basically, and they don't know if or when Sarah might possibly wake up from this coma. They decide, Laurel tells Oliver what's happening and hopes that Team Arrow can help find out what happened to Sarah. So they end up trying to guard Sarah as she lies in hospital. While this is all happening, Ray Palmer is preparing a presentation to announce he is now a controlling partner of Queen Consolidated along with Oliver Queen, as they both have 45% of the stocks in Queen Consolidated, and is initiating a merger between Queen Consolidated and Palmer Technologies. It is while he's up there that he has a little meet cute with Felicity. Yes, I'm getting into the soap opera stuff.
Okay. I thought you were just going to kill that whole, love triangle or something.
Some people somewhere actually enjoyed that, so I'm trying to do a bit of it for everything.
Okay.
But you will see
This
how this goes.
This wouldn't fly in my HBO version of Arrow, but sure.
No, that just goes straight to just banging.
Oh.
Lots of banging.
Oh, no, Felicity would have, died at the end of season 2 or something.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, I heard we would have
He
been
keeps
chopped
his
off or
promises,
something.
kid.
Yeah, sure.
So yes, back in the hospital, Oliver is looking after Sarah. He goes out to grab a soda, and despite being less than a minute, comes back to find the doctor about to smother Sarah with a pillow.
Oh.
Oliver pulls him off and notices that the doctor is not in control and sees a little device planted on the doctor's temple with a very quick dart throw, because he has those little mini arrow dart things,
Sure.
which are adorable. I love them, they're cute. Basically takes it off and frees the doctor from the mind control. With this little bit of device, they can manage to set a trap for the assassins. So they set the trap, they discover that it is one of the assassins that they met earlier, and basically almost take him down before he escapes, thanks to a hostage situation with one of the nurses. They go back with this new information and a little crescent-like medallion that fell from the assassin as he left. They stop by to see Nyssa has returned and is pissed. She is just, the love of her life is living in a coma. She doesn't know what to do, and she's just angry at the world. Through Nyssa, they discover that the three assassins are three members of the Seven Men of Death, who were the personal hit squad of Ra's al Ghul, that have gone rogue. And the three members are Cheshire, Komodo, and Dr. Moon.
Right, okay.
Over the next few episodes, Nyssa, with the help of Team Arrow, ends up tracking down all three members and putting them under arrest, basically. Except for Dr. Moon, who, the first one they meet, Nyssa just shoots straight in the chest and kills. She is just angry and kills him in a fit of rage. Because, Sarah's in a coma and it's his fault.
Sure.
This leads to Ra's al Ghul's sending a personal messenger to basically tell Oliver and Nyssa that they are to come to Nanda Parbat and face trial, or everyone they love will die, including Thea. And they show look at these photos we got, and creepy.
Yeah. The usual
Russell,
intimidating, Polaroids.
Yeah,
Why is
stuff
it always
like that.
Polaroids, too?
I don't know.
Are they just taking photos of the camera from the 80s or something? Very weird.
Nowadays, you'd think it's more like security footage or something.
It'd be a USB drive, honestly, which is far less intimidating than the Polaroids. Sure, maybe that's why they use them.
Anyway, this leads into basically Oliver requesting trial by combat because they've been accused of murdering a League of Assassins member, despite Nyssa pleading, he went rogue and he killed one of our own. Why are we not?
Wait, so Sarah's officially dead at this point, or
No, in a coma, sorry.
okay, yeah, sure.
He tried to kill, that's what I meant to say.
Yep, just confirming.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ra's al Ghul was like, I don't care. You actually did murder one of our own. You will be punished and put to death. And Oliver was like, no, trial by combat. I will take you down on behalf of Nyssa and myself. So they end up climbing up to the mountain. Nyssa's there, but she's like not sure what to do. There's a couple of other League of Assassin members right next to her. And that episode of the climb is so great that I kind of want it just to happen by itself.
Okay.
Except for one change. While they are fighting, Raz is just calm and collectively monologuing as he goes. He's just like, yeah, you are skilled and very good at this, just as he's parrying every single move Oliver throws at him.
With like one arm behind his back, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Just taunting him as he goes. And it's like,
You caught me monologuing, you sly dog.
and this is like, but they tried to kill Sarah. How are you letting this? And Raz is like, because I'm the one that sent them to kill Sarah. And Nyssa just freaks the fuck out and immediately gets taken down by like the two assassins into like a prisoner position.
Sure.
And it's like, you were meant to marry the person I chose, the person I want as my heir, because I am not long for this world much longer, and I need someone suitable to take over from my position.
All the while, he's still like parroting all of Swordsmiths.
He's just going to town with Oliver.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And basically, Oliver, in a sort of fit of rage, manages to get the upper hand very briefly. And then Raz is like, okay, none of this anymore. Grabs Oliver, stabs him through the chest, kicks him off the mountain. And is like, he turns to Nyssa and is like, I will not do the same to you. You are my daughter. I love you. But never come back to Nanda Parbat again. And she's like, just crying now.
Sure.
She's lost Sarah into a coma. Oliver's dead.
My casual acquaintance Oliver is dead.
Well, the one person who was trying to help her is dead.
Yeah, fair.
And she's like not knowing what to do now. So we cut back to, that's mid-season finale. We come back to 4 or 5 episodes of Team Arrow without Oliver. We do not see any sign of Oliver except in the flashbacks. So it is just Arsenal, Laurel, who is trying to take over, who in the before the mid-season finale, while they were hunting down the assassins, was being trained by Nyssa on how to fight, is now slowly becoming the Black Canary in honor of her sister, and because she feels like she has lost too many people because she couldn't defend or save them herself. She lost her sister to this coma. She almost lost her dad multiple times. She lost Tommy because she couldn't fight for herself. And so she is now trying to take over the mantle for herself, so no one else is, so she's never in that position again, basically. Actually give her proper motivation to become the Black Canary.
Yeah, I assume she's going to have like an emotional, vaguely teary monologue when she explains all of this, if it's staying melodramatic.
This is more just sort of over time, little bits are revealed.
Sure, okay.
When she does there's actually one moment I forgot to mention before the climb, where she does actually mention that she's going to become the Black Canary to Oliver, right before, while he's at the grave of his father, trying to work out whether he's going to go face Ra's al Ghul, because everyone's saying like, you will die, why are you doing this? Or you have to save sister. And he's like, I don't know what to do. Am I committing suicide to save my sister, or do I just stay here and hope for the best? And Laurel's like, no, you're going to Ra's al Ghul and you're going to beat him because you survived 5 years in hell. Of course you're going to just take this guy out. And they end up sharing a moment. Oliver says to Laurel, the only reason I survived those 5 years is because I had my thought of returning back to you. Whole thing, they kiss It's a big thing. Don't give me those eyebrows. And that's when she sort of tells Oliver that she's taken up the Black Canary role.
Right, okay.
And so back into where I am in the story. I'm jumping around too much, I realize.
No, it's Green Arrow does the same thing.
Yes. So that's sort of in flashbacks, sort of, no, that's what happened with Laurel and Oliver. They face Brick, because Brick was an interesting character, I thought. Someone else we didn't talk about in the main episode, but
too many people to talk
too
about.
many people,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, they have a whole thing. They end up taking down Brick, and at the last minute, woo, Oliver's back in his full Green Arrow suit, and no real idea why he is back.
Oh, Oliver has no clue why he's back, or no one does?
No, he knows he's come back to, continue his mission, save his city, but he is facing some memory problems when they end up talking to back in the cave, and he's like, I'm still not entirely sure how it's happened. I know some tea was involved, and he mentioned
penicillin.
yes, and mentions this character who is shown in the flashbacks as Miko. What's his name?
I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And he's like, he saved me again after helping me years back. And Laura's like, well, are we going to talk about what happened before you left? And he's like, oh, I don't remember any of this. What are you talking about? And immediately starts a relationship with Felicity again.
An amnesia subplot?
Well, it's not full amnesia. He basically remembers everything except how he was survived and this one meeting with Laurel.
Yeah, right, okay.
You'll see where I'm going with this shortly.
Okay, I'm not a fan of amnesia subplots, but you're going to have to win me back over.
Okay. So, Oliver basically is gone back to fighting crime. He's taken out the 1% with Team Arrow. And everyone is great, except Laurel and Thea. Because they're just thinking, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't feel like the Oliver we know. Because he's suddenly all lovey-dovey with Felicity. He's not remembering some major key parts of their life. I don't know what's wrong. And they're like, it's because of the amnesia. Don't worry about it. We will fix him. As this is happening, Zagul has basically said, you know what? Star City is what corrupted my daughter, turned her against me. It has to be punished, so we're going to destroy it. And I have someone here who has tried to do this in the past who will be our guide, and it's Malcolm Miller.
Oh, okay.
Surprise! He's the right hand of Ra's al Ghul. And Raz's entire motivation for destroying Star City is basically just, I can't see my daughter now because of this city, despite the fact that it's clearly him that was the one that cast her aside.
Sure, okay.
So they end up start this process of basically launching war against Star City. And when Arrow arrives, they notice that, oh, okay, he's back. How did he survive? And Raz is like, he might be a worthy heir to my throne because he survived my blade that no one else has done in the past. He basically tracks down Arrow in Star City. They have this whole thing. It's like, you will be my heir or you'll stay here while your city burns. And Arrow's like, well, what if I do take it off? Will you spare the city? He's like, no.
Oh.
This place is going down. It's your decision on whether you go down with it. And Oliver's just like, no, I'm staying here. I'm taking you down. So I was like, well, so be it. And basically launches war on Star City. And there's like almost a siege type thing where it's just all these League of Assassins people coming in, causing havoc. Team Arrow are trying their best to solve. It comes down with the big showdown where Raz basically takes control of this major sort of square, and it comes face to face with Oliver one more time. It's like, technically, our trial by combat is still going because you're not dead. So they start fighting. It's like, come back, be my heir, take over. I've already set plans in motion.
So he's still monologuing while they're
while they're fighting again.
Yeah, okay.
Doing the whole.
He has a real bad habit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, not as much because Arrow is actually sort of holding his own a lot better this time. So it's more sort of the monologue beforehand that sort of seeps into the fight as they go on. And he's like, you'll marry my daughter, you'll become the demon's head, you will do this, and the city will burn. That's what has to happen. And Raz basically just takes down Oliver again, is about to kill him again, when suddenly he gets shot in the hand by an arrow from on there. And he can't see where it's from. He's freaks out in that brief moment. Oliver gets the upper hand again, and basically all the other heroes, so Ray Palmer, who's now the Atom, Laurel Lance, as Black Canary, Thea as Speedy. Roy's gone because he's gone to basically hunt Cheshire because she left a while back and is just trying to find an antidote. Sarah's come to now, but is still very sort of hobbled. That's why Arsenal's gone off to try and work out how she can be better. And that leads to a whole Arsenal Cheshire subplot future, possibly. I'll leave that up to everyone else.
Okay. Yep. If Colton Haynes returns, basically,
Yeah.
for long enough, yeah.
Yes, that is like the fail-safe. And basically, as a team now, they can take down Ra's al Ghul. And there's a brief moment where they're fighting the League of Assassin members, where Thea and Laurel get saved by Nissa, who has returned, surprise, in full gear, and a League of Assassin member who is in a very personalized outfit, but a covered-up face, so no one really knows who he is. And they basically rescue him, haul ass, and take down Ra's al Ghul. And it's like, yay, everything's cool now. And they sort of set up to continue on. They don't know riding off into the sunset or anything. Oliver and Felicity are together. Everyone is kind of happy, and they're just moving on to the next sort of thing. And the cliffhanger is Nissa just basically saying to the hood figure, are you going to go to them, my husband? And he's like, no, not yet. I'm not ready. So that's the cliffhanger into season 4. Season 4 begins with Team Arrow, again, running through the streets and the bushes, because I love that scene that they do every single season of them just tracking down a bad guy by running through the city foliage.
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of thing. Taking down all these bad guys, trying to stop this human trafficking ring that's been set up, that's like kidnapping all these homeless people that don't know what's happening. All they have is a sort of logo. And they're also dealing with what seems to be this copycat archer. So the same one that was in the cliffhanger for Martin is going around also sort of assisting them, but at the same time Oliver's like, I don't know who this person is. Either we bring him to the team or we have to take him down. And they're like, oh, don't know what to do. And it all builds up to the mid-season finale for Christmas for that, where they come face to face, the copycat archer and Oliver. And there's a big fight, and the copycat archer is like way better than Oliver could be, but they all sort of share the same moves. And with a distraction caused by Diggle, basically taking out, like shooting the archer, the copycat archer, lets Oliver get the upper hand and remove his hood. And it's revealed, surprise,
It's Oliver Queen?
it's Oliver Queen.
Yeah, thought so. Aha!
And then we get into a whole thing where it's, oh my god, are you are my clone? What the hell?
The Oliver clone saga we didn't know we wanted.
No.
Okay. Explain.
Basically, the entire system that they've been fighting is Hive, but it's not a Damien Dark-led Hive. It's nothing to do with League of Assassins. It is instead led by a character, still played by Neil McDonough, because he is great.
Cool.
But basically a disgraced former scientist from this thing called Project Cadmus.
Okay.
And he's kidnapping the homeless population to create his sort of new refined super soldiers, following on his work from his former colleague, Dr. Ivo.
Okay.
So also in the flashbacks for this season, it's them back on the island dealing with the initial setting of Hive and how they're trying to find the miracle cure and how they created the genetic stuff. So
right,
it's-
okay. So
that's sort of linking the two.
tying it in a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Basically, the two Oliver Queens don't know what's really going on, and they notice that the original Oliver that's been with them the whole time, who came back from the dead with amnesia and stuff, actually has a Hive logo tattooed on his skin, but in the ultraviolet light sensitive ink, so no one could see it.
Oh, okay.
Much like some of the homeless people. And it all comes down to, you were created by Cadmus to take down, basically, so they had control over the heroes if anything was needed. And as it turns out, Oliver, who is the copycat archer Oliver, Oliver 2, was the real Oliver that was saved by Nissa and dipped into the Lazarus pit.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
And
if you're
brought
going
him
to
back.
bring the Lazarus pit back in. Yeah.
And so he's come back from the dead, still a little bloodlusty, but having now basically taken control over the League of Assassins because he's married Nissa, just purely so she then is in the actual demon's head now.
Right.
because
Okay.
Raz is dead, and he'd already set up this whole thing with her. So she is in control, and they basically have a fight where it's League of Assassins, Oliver, Laurel, and Thea versus Cadmus, Oliver, with Felicity and Diggle, because they don't know who the actual clone is in this, despite the fact that there's the Cadmus logo on one of them. The other one seemingly is part of League of Assassins. They don't know if that's true. They don't know who the real Oliver is. No one does. And they've taken their sides. They have a big fight, and they end up having to take on Dabney Donovan, who's big head of this Hive corporation. They take him down, classically, with Cadmus Oliver sacrificing himself. And it ends with League of Assassins, Oliver taking back the mantle as Green Arrow now, because everyone's just seen Arrow die. So he takes on the Green Arrow mantle, takes over position, and has a big final moment with Laurel, where they officially become a couple again into season 5.
Right. And she survived season 4 as well.
Yes. She, in fact, actually does more than most of the other characters, because she's the one that's investigating Project Cadmus and why there are 2 different Olivers.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And she's the first one to click that, oh, something clearly isn't right here, even before they show the original Oliver. So,
yeah. Cool. Okay.
So that is my 2 seasons.
There you go. So season 3 sounds like it largely stays generally the same for the most part, especially for the first half.
Yeah, the first part is very similar, except less of a Phrygian of Sarah, because
Yep.
she's coming back anyway. May as well just stick her in a coma instead.
Sure.
Plus, it kind of shows her true heart, because anyone else the poison would have killed. She's like, how are you still alive? Clearly you were stronger willed than we thought. And it gives a more interesting villain, rather than just adding to the whole mystery of, oh, it's Merlin, and he brainwashed Thea apparently to kill Sarah for reasons.
Yeah, there was that whole subplot we didn't talk about, which honestly I don't.
So
really
in this,
want to.
I've changed it. So Malcolm is the right hand of Raz, but is also the one feeding information to Team Arrow. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
okay.
he's
playing both sides as usual.
yeah, and he basically at the end is the one that, I didn't mention this, was the one that shot Ra's al Ghul,
Oh, okay.
because he's like, I've already tried to take the city down in order to rebuild it, and it cost me my son. I'm not letting you do the same thing, and so I can lose my daughter. That's his whole, and that sort of brings him properly round to the side of good by the end of it. Still not redeemed, but getting there.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that's basically
Cool. Yeah, interesting.
might do it differently.
I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than what they did for season 4, especially. So I mean, I still don't like Amnesia subplots. I got to
I get
admit,
that.
yeah, I think the addition of Cadmus is an interesting one, almost certainly, especially as we were talking about the escalation of like the world building and such from season to season, like going from like Ra's al Ghul and the Lazarus Pit from season 3 to cloning in season 4 feels enough in line with what the Flash was doing at the time that it's kind of possible to get along with.
Yeah,
So-
well, I was trying to, instead of going straight to magic, just go, okay, clearly there's actual science behind this. It's like the one thing that they managed to get right was the clone.
Yeah.
Everything else was the tests with the Arms people. It created some different people, 1 or 2 soldiers that they had to sort of fight, DNA aliens, as they called them. But most of the time they were just getting wrong and ended up just killing the people.
Yeah, sure, okay.
So
I do find it really interesting that you have the exact same twist in the middle of season 4 of Arrow than they did in season 3 of Flash. Funnily enough, with the midway reveal of like the main antagonist is, oh, it's me.
Future Flash.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that was just like a parallel
Yeah.
reality one in comparison, but I do think that's interesting. Yeah, cool. No, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a hell of a lot better than the season 4 we got, so...
Well, we don't know. We'll see. Let's make mine a reality. We'll commission a full season
Yeah, sure.
to run parallel.
With all the same actors and cast and crew and
Yep.
everything, so yeah, just with different
See who
scripts.
did it better.
Yep. No, fair enough. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I don't know if there's not much more to add to that.
Don't feel I'm being too reductive by taking over a Young Justice plot.
Well, no. If there's anything you can steal from, I am more than okay with taking from Young Justice, considering how good it is. That is another episode we're going to have to do later down the line.
Yeah.
Except there's so much in Young Justice that we could do an individual
God.
episode on every episode, so
Yeah.
which would be absurd.
So
but
much.
Yeah, we will talk about it at some point in the future. But yeah, no, it's great. Very good stuff. Cool. Well, thank you to everyone who listened to this bonus episode of Medium Shift. As we mentioned, you can always email us at mediumshift@gmail.com to send in other feedback for Evan's Do It Differently or send in your own.
Just Feel free to complain as much about my season 4 as everyone complained about the actual season 4.
Yeah, sure. Just make things feel authentic. Yeah, just you don't really want to lean into a clone saga. We saw how that went with Spider-Man, I guess. But yeah, until next time, fare thee well.
Bye.